Hotline spam.
Hopping on a call right now.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, spam.
Hey,
Hey.
how's it going?
It's going
Thanks
great.
for the resub.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Nice. Thanks. Appreciate it.
So.
Yeah, I was just listening to
Yeah, I saw. I was trying
you-
to hear
your
the
waffleton.
Oh, my waffleton. Dude, I was trying to get to hear the different takes, and then I just ended up live reacting to you reacting to my VOD. So I thought it's better if we talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So spam, how do you feel? What's your initial impression to the Nadeo statement?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear and straightforward the way I
Okay.
read it. That's why I'm a little bit confused how you're reading through the lines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like if I'm reading this, I get it and I understand it. That's literally it.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit confused how I mean I haven't watched I was only halfway through, so I don't know what you're gonna say more, but like it's interesting to hear how you interpret certain sentences,
Okay.
which is completely different from how I interpret them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So let's talk about that. So you probably heard my argument, but I think first of all, it should be best to have a clear like rules page. Like this should probably be in the written more accurately in the code of conduct, because eventually if you're a new player, it gets hard to keep track of which tweet has which thing, which Discord message, has which rule in it. So that's one thing. But overall, I think this Twitter statement leaves a lot of gray area still, which is not great. Such
Why?
as it addresses that the curve goes from 0 to 100, but anything in between is kind of gray still to me.
How come?
Because it says
Is it only gray because you want to use a different curve? Is that the reason why it's
No.
only gray?
it's gray because it's impossible to police for them, and it's
Yeah, I get that.
advantageous. Yeah.
I get that.
And so they're leaving it, in my opinion, open to interpretation, so as they can, very clearly say, oh, this is a case of not allowed and this is a case of allowed, if they want to. I don't think it's clear enough that players, like, let's say you're a controller player, and you're pretty good at like moving the control stick, but you lack very minute precision in the low details. There are controller software that lets you change, so that you have more of the lower range of the analog and less of the high range, for example, so that it's better. Like, would that be disallowed for you under these rules? Since it's so any analog profile that's not a straight line would be disallowed.
Yes.
Do you think that's sustainable though? Do you think people will actually do that?
Let's look. Both me and you know, Nadeo will never detect anyone going under the radar. It's we all know this, right? They will never detect that little Jimmy 78 is driving with a curve that is 0 to 87%. They will not. I think the main problem or the main thing is that we as the big dogs, we cannot do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a gentleman's agreement between everyone. It's like an unwritten rule.
But do you not think it's more healthy if they have a way to actually like detect this? Like, let's say
Sure, but like I said, we know they will never detect it. They will never. This is literally just like I can tell you, I can go in my Thrustmaster software, I can change my curve as well. I'm not doing it though. Like I could, but I'm not doing it.
You could.
Why? Because I think it is against the nature of the game. I just plug in my controller, I play, and boom, that's it.
And that is admirable. That is really good. But I also think it's almost naive to assume that everyone will play this way, especially like the snow car is not that bad on road, for example, but on snow car dirt or on just anything rally car when that comes out. It's naive to think that people won't try to make the car more drivable, because default, at least, it's hard, but on keyboard it's next to impossible. default. If you
I
don't
mean,
use
I
any
get
action
that.
key or anything,
Yeah. No, of course. Keyboard is by far just the worst device. I mean, everyone knows it. Like, it's not a secret. However, they did say that they are currently working on custom action keys or whatever this whole custom thing is going to be.
Yeah, which is
Would that then be already a good change? I mean, depending how they implement, I have no idea.
I think
But would that already satisfy you and don't need to include all the other rules that you are wanting?
So I think it's super good that they're doing that because it helps keyboard players as a whole to get closer. Might also, make it easier for controller players or steering wheel, whatever. I think that's good, but I find it worrying that there's no clear rules on analog curves still. As in, like...
So what do you want them to write then?
So here was what I was thinking. I was thinking about this.
So let's say they want to ban your curves and whatever okay, what do they write? According to you, what do they need to write?
What I thought they need to do is probably make you set the curve in-game. So like you have one sensitivity curve for the snow car, you have one for the stadium car, one for the rally car, and these are defined like in-game. Because then every replay file will have data attached to it which says what, curves you were playing on. Right now, you can only look at dashboard and try to guess, did they have too smooth steering for 100% curve? Like, can you deduct, like, it's very, unsustainable this way. But if they have the adjustments in-game, then at least they have the data and they can, decide, okay, we can ban certain ranges.
Okay, so they have to write down as a rule that in this hypothetical scenario where there are in-game curves, which we do not have, obviously.
Yeah.
They would have to write down that you're only allowed to use those, but what about your outside curves that you might use then?
Well, I think people wouldn't go outside the game to get other curves. They could already do it in-game. Maybe they would for extra precision, but I think the results would not be tangibly good enough over the ones in-game if they do it right.
So the custom action keys that they are implementing will not even be good enough for you think?
Well, they might be. But I think analog devices are still going to have an advantage. And so, for example, if I could use analog keyboard with certain curves, I would prefer that to any action key, I think.
But why can't you just use your analog keyboard as an analog keyboard without the curves?
So the problem...
I actually always wondered.
Yeah, I can try to explain it. The problem is that you have about 4 millimeters to push down the key. I can open the software on my stream if you want to see.
Yeah. It's really precise. I get that.
So it's very precise, but it's also precise in a very tough spot to hold accurately. You're pushing down a key, which is constantly trying to move up against your push, And so it's very hard to hold it steady. So if I go to the gamepad tester right now, you see this on the bottom middle.
So what you're basically saying is that if some new player picks up a controller, he's also gonna have troubles holding his stick in a certain position, right?
He is more than you are, yeah.
And he has to learn it. By playing many hours.
Yep.
So have you tried learning to use your keyboard by default in TrackMania?
Explain that. If I've tried to with a straight curve,
have you been using your analog keyboard with the linear curve in TrackMania? Like, have you tried learning it?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
How long? How long did you give it?
I gave it enough time to realize that it is unoptimal. Because this...
Okay, but you're not saying impossible.
No. Okay. But it's inoptimal in two ways. It's inoptimal because there are a lot of parts. Like, so I have 4 millimeters of movement. And in that 4 millimeters, if I don't need the range between 0 and 20, and I don't need a range higher than 60 to 100, because at that point you're really not needing the no slides, then my effective, like the range I need is dropped from, like, there's only 40% of that range that I actually need. And hitting that when the key is so sensitive is incredibly difficult, to the point where it's just easier then to use regular action keys. You get better results if you do.
Yeah, so why don't you?
Because it is still not good enough to compete with controller or steering wheel. So I could, but then I would just be worse.
Okay,
that's
I
how I
get
feel.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. But I'm also gonna be worse though on the new environments.
Yeah, do you think you would benefit if you limited your range on a controller?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Like I will be worse than Granadi or Sunder or anyone that uses a joystick or a flight stick or wheel. Like I will be.
And do you then think it would be detrimental to the game if they implemented like sensitivity settings per car in game? So you could, everyone, like keyboard, joystick, controller, could all set like a good curve and make the car more playable?
Yeah. I mean, if it is in game, sure. But if it's anything outside of the game, no.
Okay, yeah. I can agree with that.
I actually want you to, because to me it sounds like you have not tried the actual analog. Like I don't know how an analog. Like I tried Solja's Wooting. He had it at the World Cup, so I tried pressing it, and I mean it feels kind of nice, and I think it is learnable. I actually think it is learnable because Solja actually uses the normal one that I see on your screen.
Yeah.
He actually uses this, and he used it at the World Cup, and he used the pressure sensitivity to the point where he was just able to, you know, like smooth steer.
So I think
I'm just wondering if you could actually give it a fair shot, and if it's just like a time commitment issue maybe.
Yeah, I could give it some time for sure.
Yeah, and it's not just you. Maybe like other analog users or analog keyboard users have the same issue.
But I can show you, for example, on stream right now. Like now it's set to 0 to 100. On the snow car, for example, on the map that I did start this entire thing on, there's a part where you steer 39%-ish, and then you have for a little bit of time, you have to drop down to 35% to hold the no slide, and then go back up to around 40%, okay?
Yeah.
These kinds of movements, I think, are basically impossible at this setting. Like, actually, the pressure to hold, like, to steer... Like, you see, right now, I am pressing, and I'm barely pressing the key. And with how quickly it moves, it's not really feasible. How I think Solja would no slide in the World Cup is more... You know the turn is about 70%, you press that, and then you just hold it. It is way easier than doing these small adjustments. This is feasible, but going like 53% back to 49%, back to 50, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not at this sensitivity.
I can
it would be like...
I can relate because I've played your map Midori, and I had to hold a very specific angle on my stick, which was also like 30%. And I'm gonna tell you one thing: it was not easy holding the stick at 30%. I was going 35, 38, 27. Like I was also shaking, right? Because I cannot hold my thumb in like one specific spot either.
But on Midori, I guess you didn't need to, because you could just...
Yeah, okay, but it's an example where I had to have a very low percentage steering or a smooth percentage steering, and I was not able to hold the correct spot all the time either. Like my finger was moving as well.
And that's fair, but I think the best comparison to the feeling of this right now is if you turn your controller sensitivity up to like 2x, because I can do what I wanted to do probably on a controller. Like the 30, looking at the display. So this is the important thing, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I can only do this if I look at the display.
Yeah.
If I turn off dashboard, I could not play this way.
I mean, me too. I
look at dashboard to know my values, right?
I mean, I get the point that, you know, the key pressing, it's way smaller than me going from left to right on my stick. But I think that's just a keyboard like flaw in this case. I mean, don't you think? Like, it's just the device. No?
It is a device, but it's also set up in a way where you have the analog thing, and then you also have the peripheral software that comes with it, so you can adjust it to make it, more sensitive.
I get that.
Less sensitive. Yeah.
I get that.
I think that, yeah. They can also make the physical keys have like a longer down press, and there, in that way, get more sensitivity, but you get to the same point, I think.
I think in the end, I mean, I can understand your view, and I guess I mean, I hope that you can also understand other people's view.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
I think we just have to wait and see what this custom action key is gonna be, and honestly, I would like to see you try just with the linear curve and see how far you can get with just regular.
Yeah. Just as an argument though, Spam.
Yeah.
So my keys have 4mm down press.
Yeah.
If there was a keyboard that could get me a 20mm down press on the hardware side, then I have a 5 times longer range. So I could be 5 times more precise.
Yes.
Would you be in favor of that being allowed if it's still a linear curve, but it's just a longer physical down press?
Yeah, why not? It's then you just buy the device and by default. I mean, it's the same thing with me. If I have a concave stick, it controls different than the whatever the opposite of a concave stick is. I can also have a longer stick on my controller by default.
You can also have like one of these controller attachment sticks that give you more sensitivity.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
This is but this is like written in the statement, no? Like they just want you to use. You buy you buy your device, you plug it in, and you use it how it's by default.
Well, then it would also be like attaching something to it, right? They don't sell controllers with like a 20 centimeter long stick.
No. I know.
But I'm guessing my question is why it would be different if it's done on the hardware or software side, if the result is kind of the same.
I mean, I get what you're trying to do here. Like it is reaching very far. I just have to say that it is reaching quite kind of far here. Like you're trying to pull at every angle to justify the other curves on your Wu-Tang.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if it's impossible to police, like if Nadeo are never going to be able to properly police it, if it's something that would benefit everyone, like, so you could say, okay, keyboard players would have a shot, but you would also have an advantage over your current playstyle if this is all done software side, and if this is where hardware could eventually go anyways, why are we not just kind of, why would this be super bad for the game if everyone has it?
No. If it's in game, I'm all for everything in game. Like I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't mind if there's custom curves in game, then I can use the custom curves in game as well. Like there is no problem with that. Nobody will bat an eye if there is custom action keys in game, custom curves in game, better sensitivity in game, any of these stuff by default set by Nadeo, then everyone can use it.
Do you think they should add it?
I mean, to me, I mean, I would use it, sure. I was also at the beginning against action keys, and now everyone is using action keys as well. The in-game action keys, that is, not the outside ones. So I would probably use it just like everyone would adapt to whatever they bring in-game. It's just that, I mean, I think the statement, like we've been running around. I've been reading some nice messages in your chat as well. But I think the statement here is pretty straightforward, and it is a direct reaction to what you were doing, basically. So
yeah. Which in my opinion is a good thing.
Yeah.
That they've actually answered. And of course they are reacting directly. I still, in my opinion, I wish they were a bit more clear, and I hope we can just get like a quick follow-up text like, hey, a curve that looks like this is not allowed or something, you know? Then nobody has to wonder.
So if they wrote down, you specifically have to read the words "custom curve" is not allowed. Then you know that you cannot use it.
I think they haven't done that deliberately, if you ask me. I think they've been deliberately vague, so there is some way for them to say, okay, they can determine it on their own, you know?
Okay. So maybe they didn't put it in because they have no way to detect it.
That could be. And I think it would be better if it was clear.
I mean, maybe there will be a follow-up.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be a follow-up because obviously there's a discussion going on. So
yeah. If you were a keyboard player, Spam.
Yeah.
What would you do for the next foreseeable 5 months while you wait for the custom action keys they're gonna add or whatever it is?
I mean, it's really hard to put myself in that position as I've been playing controller for 15 years. But I think what I would do if I wanted to compete and I was a keyboard player, I think I would wait. I mean, I would try controller, I think, or I would play like a mixed keyboard controller setup. That's what I would do, I think. Now, I've never played with an analog keyboard, so I don't know. But if I mean, from what I have seen, Soulja is able to do pretty much 95% of what the controller guy can do. So that's the only experience I have with the same keyboard that you have.
Yeah. Okay.
So from my perspective, it is learnable. That's how I see it, basically. But then again, it's for everyone. It's different.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting to hear your opinions about it.
But look, I completely agree with everyone's statement or take that the new environments are going to be absolutely bad for keyboards. Like, I don't think anybody is denying that. Like, if people are denying that, then I don't know what they're doing. But hopefully this custom action key or whatever they're going to implement is going to pretty much, I mean, balance it all out. But I mean, it's a huge inhale of hopium that this is gonna be a good update. But hey, we can only hope. And if it is what you suggested, maybe there's gonna be a custom curve to it. I have no idea. Like, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe there's gonna be a follow-up statement after. I don't know who wrote this tweet, but I'm sure the Nadeo people are gonna listen to whatever you have to say or other people have to say, and maybe they make a better clarification on the matter. But I guess it's a first step in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah, I also think so. I think they're stepping in the right direction to try to get clear rules about something. And then it's also like, you know, they're introducing cars that have had rules in the past. Like, DX Tweak is allowed in United. I know it's not used by a lot of players there, but it's still allowed to be compete. And they're introducing these cars and now saying it's not allowed, and it's confusing. So it's good that they're actually talking about it for once. And, you know, we can only hope the game continues to be like competitive for as many people as possible, like as accessible as well. So that even if you're like, you know, default Andy, no action keys, no nothing, like it's still fun to play with the snow car. It's fun to play with the rally car. I wonder, it also has skill, you know, like it's not an auto scroller.
No, but I wonder if like you know, regular TrackMania players who boot up will go to the lengths of you know, using all these things. I think the regular player is just gonna boot up, drive a couple of rounds, and I don't think they will bother too much with understanding different curves and how much percent do you need to steer. But maybe I'm thinking wrong here.
The thing I could see happening is like the default guy who just starts TrackMania and boots up finds that the stadium car already moves too fast for some people to think in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so the snow car and the rally car will just be like nearly uncontrollable. So much so that I actually wonder if I wish they would set the default sensitivity of those lower by default.
Yeah, I agree with
so that they boot up and it doesn't feel as awful as just YOLOing with the snow car and trying to understand how it all works.
I mean, I have been advocating for that because the snow car is a literal direct copy paste of the old version. So I'm afraid, like, if they don't tweak the rally car, then there is gonna be a lot of problems. I was actually expecting them to adjust the cars a little bit.
The sensitivity?
Yeah.
So that it's better, yeah.
Yeah. I legit thought but maybe they still do in the future, who knows? I am not sure. But like if they just copy paste the next cars in as well, then yeah, there's gonna be a problem.
I agree with that.
It's a nice drawing. You should hop on the art. You should hop on the art category.
The art category? No,
why not?
I have a feeling it would be very bad.
Okay. I mean, you can draw freely.
Yeah. Nothing's
off the hook.
Nothing's prevented there.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, but I like, you know, it's good to talk about the things, and I mean, I expect in the next couple of days there's gonna be 500 Reddit posts and 6,000 Discord messages from people agreeing or disagreeing. But yeah, we just have to see. Like as I read this right now, like the stuff that you were using in the the 60% whatever curve you had is not allowed. Yeah. But yeah, are they? Yeah,
I agree with that.
Are they gonna detect it? Probably not. So yeah, I'm not gonna be the guy to tell you not to use it. But
do you feel that in general with TrackMania about it? Or do you wanna? I don't know if you wanna hop off, but
no.
Let me know. Okay, yeah. Do you feel that in general with TrackMania that there's a lot of stuff like it's almost like you hope that people are playing fair, but you know there's a lot of things they could do off stream?
But then it's just, to me, is then just a personal thing, right? I am not gonna do it because I will feel bad about it. That's how I see it. Like,
yeah,
I could use a whatever if I had access to an SD helper or whatever, you know, like anything that could make me be more precise. Like, I would feel shitty using it. So I personally would not use it, but some people will use it and they don't care. They just go and, you know, it's whatever to them.
Yeah, I actually talked about that later in the thing as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to that.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's the hope, that we just hope people play fairly, play at least.
I mean, that's
even if like fairly is hard to define, like at least play openly, you know? At least be open about what you use and what you do.
Yeah. I mean, that comes down to I mean, I hate to bring this one up, but the Midori incident, like once again, you know, it was an unaware moment that nobody knew that you were doing the 34%er, you know, like nobody knew.
Well,
nobody knew that. So that's
I
like
was still trying to be public about using it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I can see that. Like there's a difference.
But I agree. Like it like to me it comes down to you know, to the person itself. Like if someone has the intent of utilizing every single tool in the, you know, that is available, and they don't feel bad about it because you or they have it and others don't, then I mean, that's on them. Like I would not go my way and use all kinds of different tools to make me drive better. Besides the things that you know that are available to me.
Do you feel it would be better with Open Planet if Nadeo kind of involved, like they took all the plugins they want in the game and put them in the game, and then at least we now know like what's good or not, like what's allowed?
Oh, I mean, if they would be able to add some of the Open Planet plugins directly into the game, fuck yes. I mean, I don't mind playing without Open Planet, like, but it just adds like so much more quality to the game. But I can play, like, I have no problem. And
from a viewer point of view as well, like from a viewer point of view as well, it's so much better.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also like from a competitive advantage, so much better. Like if you play a map with speed splits and gearbox, and you can look at your steering values and you can look at the buffer timer, like all these things are advantages like PC has over console, which is already like really hard to overcome.
Yeah, I mean it's for sure. No, like, but I can play the game without Open Planet and it would still be the same game to me. But this is different for every single player, right? For every single user.
Yeah.
Like I have no problem playing TrackMania without any of the plugins. Would I miss some plugins? Yes, but it does not change my TrackMania game for me. So
I see. Yeah. I see.
All right. You
okay.
Can keep
I feel like we
Joel.
reached some common ground, though. I feel like we.
No, like I can see both sides. I can.
Yeah.
I truly can. But yeah, just hoping that this whole debate or it's like fighting every single week. There's a new thing about the analog and the curvature and everything, and it's at some point it's getting really tiring to read it all the time. Also, I have one question actually.
Yeah.
Why do you call it? I don't know how to bring this. Like it was specifically a problem about the curves, right? That you were using, but I read so many times that you were saying it's a problem with analog keyboards as a whole.
Yeah.
Was that just like
so.
time to farm a little bit more, or was that actually?
I think the reason I framed it that way is because a lot of people after Midori assume analog keyboards are banned.
Okay.
So every time I mention I'm using an analog keyboard, people go, "Do you still use your analog keyboard?" I say yes, and they go, "Wait, isn't that banned?" And then you have to get into that entire like thing.
Okay.
And I also think for keyboard players, just in general, this is maybe still a little ways away, but I think gaming keyboards in general, if you give it 3-4 years, they're all gonna have analog capabilities.
Yeah,
because they're competitively advantaged in almost every game nowadays. Like you see people use them in Apex, you see people use them in Osu, TrackMania. Like it's just better to have the functionality than not. And so developers like SteelSeries, like Racer, they all have analog keyboard models, and they're gonna be very common.
Okay. So what if from now on you specifically specify that it was about the curves? Do you think people would catch on, or do you think they would still like go towards the angle of framing it as a analog keyboard issue?
I think it's both. I think it's mostly a issue for keyboard because controller default is still closer to optimal than analog keyboard default.
Okay, I get that.
But I think in general, I wouldn't mind if everyone has access to these things.
Okay.
Like any device.
Yeah.
It's like right now, let's say controller is like a level 90 Pokemon and keyboard is like a level 40 Pokemon. And then if you give everyone plus 50 levels rare candy with this buff, then there's less of a difference if every device is higher level. Like if you give them the same amount of XP, keyboard gets to like level 90 maybe, and controller gets to level 97 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean like at the top end, it's closer together?
Yeah, at the top end, it's closer. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that was a difficult analogy to follow, but I got there.
I'm sorry.
We got there. No, but no, yeah, like I think there's a lot of points that I agree with you on. I mean, I've said it in the past. There needs to be like a definite change for keyboard, and from what I can see right now, there is gonna be something. So, unfortunately, it's gonna be in winter 2024. But maybe beforehand, I don't know. Maybe hit them up and see if you can be included in the whole process of maybe testing it out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that could be good.
I legit think they would be open for it since you are like the the person who's kind of quote unquote started all of this. So I guess they would value your your take probably on it. If you ask Hylis or Tona or anyone.
Yeah, I think that could be good.
I'm pretty sure you could.
Maybe I could continue the fight for keyboard.
I mean-
Hopefully, until we don't have a chance anymore. You know.
I mean, at some point, one side has to surrender, and let's hope it doesn't get to the point where it's gonna be you receiving a ban or whatever, or some other strange thing happen. I think.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
I think in the end, what Nadeo is trying to do is they're trying to, find a common ground as well between what they want to allow and whatnot. So I think they're trying their best.
Yeah.
And maybe it's going a bit too slow, but that is for another take.
True.
Another discussion.
But okay, I think we got somewhere here. I think we understand each other a bit better. I think chat understands also the two different sides of this. So yeah, I'd say productive.
Hopefully there is gonna be a follow-up statement, and then you can also sleep well tonight.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow or next week. whenever they have satisfied satisfied your needs, what you want to see. So we can only hope.
Yep. Sounds good, Spam.
All right.
I'll catch you around.
I'm gonna head off. Have a wonderful evening. Have a good one, chat, and I'll see you
Bye-bye,
in
Spam.
Cup of the Day.
Say bye to Spam, everybody. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Take care.